Hello viewers, we are asked to find the value of 3 raised to power x plus 3 raised to power y given these two equations. For the sake of time, I have decided to explain an already prepared solution. So here I am making this equation 1 and then I'm also making this equation 2. And then taking equation 1, this is equation 1. Taking equation 1, I am making 3 raised to power x the subject of the formula. If you make this the subject of the formula, then you have to cross this to the right hand side. That will make it 5 root 3 minus 3 raised to power y plus 1, as you can see from here. Then after making 3 raised to power x the subject of the formula, I have to substitute it into this equation 2. Bringing down equation 2, I have 3 raised to power x plus 1 plus 3 raised to power y equals 3 root 3. The first thing I did here was to split this following the rule of indices. That splits into 3 raised to power x times 3 raised to power 1 plus the 3 raised to power y equals 3 root 3. Now this 3 raised to power x is equal to 5 root 3 minus 3 raised to power y plus 1. I brought that in place of 3 raised to power x. Don't forget that we are multiplying that by 3 raised to power 1. Now this 2 I also brought down equals the 3 root 3. Then I have to use the 3 to open this bracket. In opening the bracket, 3 times 5 root 3 gives 15 root 3. 3 times 3 raised to power y plus 1. You have to obey the rule of indices, where you have to add the powers. The y plus 1 gives the y plus 2. I brought down the others. The next thing I had to do was to collect like terms. I had to collect like terms as the next step. In collecting our like terms, the 15 root 3 minus 3 root 3 gives this 12 root 3. Then these two are crossed to the other side so that I can make this to become positive. When you cross this, it becomes positive 3 raised to power y plus 2. This one crossing also makes it minus 3 raised to power y. Now the next thing I have to do, in order to solve for y, since I have y left, I have to square both sides to remove this square root. Squaring this side, I root both of them here. In squaring, they are multiplied by itself. 12 root 3 is also squared. And the 12 root 3 is squared. 12 times 12 is 144. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. Then 144 times 3 gives 3 raised to power 2. Then squaring this side needs being careful. If you multiply this by this, you have to remember that you have to obey the rule of indices, where you have to add the powers. So the y plus 2 plus the y plus 2 gives 2y plus 4. Multiplying this by this, we also add the powers. That will give 2y plus 2. Multiplying this by this, we also add the powers. Y plus 2 gives 2y plus 2. And then multiplying this by this, we also add the powers. Y plus y gives 2y. So now after the expansion, look at what is obtained here. They are like terms. They are like terms. If you have minus a, it becomes minus 2a. So if the minus this minus the second one gives minus 2 into bracket 3 raised to power 2y plus 2. And then the next step again, I would now have to do some splitting. These powers are splitted just like the other ones too. It is splitted following the rule of indices. So I split this into 3 raised to power y all squared and then times 3 raised to power 4 according to the rule of indices. These ones too also split into 3 raised to power y all squared times 3 raised to power these two. This one too also split, as you can see from here, 3 raised to power y all squared. Now if you look at all the expression obtained here, what do you notice? 3 raised to the power y is common. So for that reason, I made 3 raised to the power y to be equal to p. Then I substitute it in. 3 raised to the power 4 here is 81. 81 times p squared gives 81p squared. This 3 raised to the power 2 is 9. 9 times this p squared, then times this 2 gives 18p squared. This is p all squared, that is brought down here, equal the 432. Now the whole of these are like terms. 81p squared minus 18p squared plus p squared would give 64p squared equals 432. Then the next step is to divide both sides by 64. 432 divided by 64 is equal to p squared. Then when the whole of this is reduced to its lowest term, you have 27 over 4. Then now to get p, I have to find the square root of both sides, and p becomes the square root of 27 over 4, which splits into this according to the rules of Surds. And the square root of 4 here is equal to 2, while the square root of 27 is reduced. When reduced, it becomes 3 root 3 over 2. So the value for p is 3 root 3 over 2. Now, do not forget that previously we said let 3 raised to the power y equals what? P. So if p is equal to 3 root 3 over 2, it therefore means that 3 raised to the power y is what? 3 root 3 over 2. So we have been able to get one value. Remember that we have to find what? The value of 3 raised to the power x plus 3 raised to the power y. So now we have gotten the value of 3 raised to the power y. That is 3 root 3 over 2. Having gotten that, let's now go on and get the value of 3 raised to the power x. In order to do that, I have to substitute the value of 3 raised to the power y into equation 1. Firstly, I brought down equation 1 first. It is 3 raised to the power x plus 3 raised to the power y plus 1 equals 5 root 3. Then I substitute in the value of 3 raised to the power y. Firstly, this is splitted according to the rules of indices into 3 raised to the power y times 3. So after splitting that, I brought in the value of 3 raised to the power y. And then I collected like terms. Okay, before that, when you use this 3 to multiply this, it gives 9 root 3 over 2. Then after that, I collected like terms. I brought the whole of this here. That will be 5 root 3 minus 9 root 3 over 2. This is equal to the 3 raised to the power x. Now if you simplify this side, find your LCM and then subtracting, the whole of this is root 3 over 2. So the value for 3 raised to the power x has been obtained as what? Root 3 over 2. So now I haven't gotten the value for 3 raised to the power x, and now to finish up, to find the value of 3 raised to the power x plus 3 raised to the power y. And then I added the two answers together. The value for 3 raised to the power x was root 3 over 2. 3 raised to the power x, the value for 3 raised to the power x is root 3 over 2. And then the value for 3 raised to the power y is 3 root 3 over 2. Now adding these two answers together, root 3 plus 3 root 3 is 4 root 3 over the 2. When the 4 root 3 over 2 is reduced, as you can see from here, I used 2 to reduce it. 2 into 1, 2 in 4 is 2. So when 4 root 3 over 2 is reduced, the final answer is 2 root 3. So the value for 3 raised to the power x plus 3 raised to the power y we asked to find is 2 root 3. Now you can go on and substitute those two values. Substitute those two values of 3 raised to the power x and 3 raised to the power y into this equation. If you go on to substitute those two answers I got into any of these two equations, it will give you any of these two answers. So the value for 3 raised to the power x and 3 raised to the power y has been obtained, and then we have added two answers together to get 2 root 3, which is the the answer to the question. Thank you for viewing. For more exciting videos like this, kindly subscribe to my channel.